Coach, just how about an overall assessment from last weekend's game?
Well, I tell you, it was good to get back out and play, and I thought that we had some things corrected, from the previous contest, but obviously we hadn't. There's a lot of work that we have to do. As you know, we're not putting the ball in the end zone. We are moving the ball, but we're not finishing those drives. And when you don't finish drives and you turn the football over, 4 out of the 5 turnovers were in the green zone. It's very, very difficult, to beat anybody. And then also on the other side of the ball, you got to be able to stop people from throwing the football on you. And we didn't do a good job of that. We shot ourselves in the foot from the get-go. Catching a return and going out of bounds at the 1-yard line. Just doing a lot of uncharacteristic things that we have to get corrected. And most of the mistakes are being done by younger players. And when you have younger players in key positions for you, you have to grow up fast and you have to work through all of those little issues that you have. We've been, very, very blessed, in the last, 4 years to have, quarterbacks that were seasoned guys that can make plays and cover up for a lot of deficiencies that we may have possessed. But now, it's a little bit different situation, and we have to continue to work to get better and rebuild and grow and get this thing where it needs to be, and I think we will.
Do you feel like those young guys, you have the week off this weekend, so you got a little more time to prepare.
Yeah.
Can those young guys, do you feel like you can get them straight before hosting Alabama State?
Well, we hope so. We would think so. But that's the way it goes. They're trying to make plays, and you don't have to make plays. If it's not there, then you just throw the ball away. But not to mention, we have to do a good job of helping them, a better job of helping them, protect them a little bit better. But then also, offensively, we have to do a better job of protecting them in certain situations where they don't make those mistakes. So we're a work in progress, and we're gonna continue to work and work. There's no other way I know how to do it than to put your head down and grind and scratch where it itches. The worst thing you can do is to work on something that you're already good at. So the whole key is to work on the things that basically your players are showing you that they need work on.
Going into the half, it was still a pretty reachable game at that point, and the defense was starting to kind of get things clicking. What was your message to the locker room at the half?
Well, we've always been a second half team, and my message was to make sure we focus, and make sure we go back to doing the things that we were capable of doing. We shot ourselves in the foot several times in the first half, but I also thought that they were playing with a little bit more of an edge than we were, and that's the edge that we normally play with. Everybody we play, we've always played the hardest, and I thought that we played hard, but I thought that they played with more of an edge than we did, and we have to get that edge back.
Did you see any differences? Quarterback, here it comes. I kind of talked, but Alden played more that game. What did you like from him?
Well, I just thought he was in a rhythm. He did make some mistakes as well. He threw a couple of interceptions also, but I thought he was in a little bit more of a rhythm, and I wanted to see what he would do, with that, because it's not solidified yet. But I think you also have to give guys opportunity to get in the rhythm, and it may be different this next week. It may be Hickbottom's turn to try to get in the rhythm, but we're just trying to figure out, who's going to be this particular guy. Both of them are young. One's a sophomore, one's a redshirt freshman, and they're working and competing and doing everything they possibly can, and we have to just help them.
Yeah, because I know the week before down in Lafayette, seemed like Jeremy got a little bit more of the work, and come out the next week, and then Alden gets a little bit more of the work. I mean, I guess in terms of just trying to get these guys out there, get them in different situations, how is it ultimately going to help those guys in the long run?
Well, I think the experience helps them, because neither one of them have ever been in a situation where they've started and played, significant snaps, in a college football game. Hickbottom has started before, but it was due to a certain situation with the previous quarterback. But they're in a different situation, and they got people coming at them, and we got to help them and be ready for that. But the thing is, I like both of them. They're both really good kids. They're both students of the game. They work hard. They can throw the football. As you can see, they run the football as well, but we have to help them collectively in order for us to be effective. And you know, I think everyone knows that. You know, that's just the way it is. That's why they pay their guys so much money in the National Football League.
Kevin Dominique had the most all-purpose yards this last game. Were you happy to see kind of that side of the offense getting a little bit more production this week?
Well, absolutely, and we have to do a little bit more of that, you know, and that takes pressure off of, you know, our quarterbacks. So we have to lean on those guys a little bit more, and we also have to, you know, lean on a couple of receivers a little bit more, you know, more of our seasoned receivers in order to, you know, to continue to grow. You know, it takes time, you know, to build that thing, and you know, and we have to continue to build it, you know, in order to get where we want to be, you know, back where we want to be. And we better grow it quick, you know, because conference play starts next week.
Coach, you have more of a rhythm offense. When you look at how Alden Clark did get into that rhythm, what did you see from that offensive line that helped him out?
Well, I thought they did a really good job at opening up some holes. You know, we were able to put Brooks back there, and he was able to run the ball a little bit effectively. And then also Dominique ran the ball effectively as well, and that kind of took a little bit of the pressure off, you know, of Clark, and allowed him to kind of make some throws. But he's used to being a playmaker. You know, he's used to being the guy coming from high school, and in the college game, he's not there yet. So he has to understand that he has to take what's given to him until he gets that confidence and get the understanding of what's going on, you know, with everyone around him, where he can go back to being a playmaker. But he's a very confident young man, as is Hickbottom. And sometimes your confidence can kind of hurt you a little bit because you think you can throw through a wall at times, and that's just part of it. You know, you'll see it tonight from Sam Donald. You know, he's getting his first start tonight, so you know everyone thinks they can make it happen, but it's always a work in progress, and you have to grow with them, and you have to be patient with them, and they're going to get bruised, but they're never broken, and that's the thing. You want to make sure that they're never broken, so that eventually, you know, by the time they become, you know, a little bit more seasoned later on in the season, you're ready to go.
It seems like it's a little difficult because when Clark was in high school in New Orleans, he was used to being a playmaker.
Absolutely.
And he could do so many things. How do you teach a kid, especially, you know, he's a freshman, to change that mindset because he was told, hey, make a play?
Well, it takes discipline, and it takes discipline on the kid's part to do exactly what you're coached to do. Because what happens with great players and great quarterbacks, they'll do what their coach tells them to do to a certain extent, and then their athleticism takes over afterwards. He has to just focus on being disciplined and doing what's asked of him, and I think he's good at that. But sometimes in a competitive environment, competitive situation, that can get a little lost from time to time, and then when they look at themselves on film, they're like, you know, I got away from what I was supposed to do. But both guys are playing hard and playing well, and you know, and somebody's got to win the team, you know, and when the team is won, then you know we'll get behind that person, and the other person will get behind them, and give them all of the tools that they need in order to allow them to be effective. So we're going to keep working this thing until we can figure out who it is, because you know we're all making huge mistakes. It's not just, you know, that particular position. It's positions all over the field that are making key mistakes, which are causing those situations. You know, offensive football is 11 guys doing 11 different things right on one play, and it's very difficult, you know, to get 11 guys to do all things right on that particular play, and that's what it takes to be, you know, an effective offense. And we've been that, you know, and there's no doubt that I don't think we can continue to do that. We just have to continue to work. And by the way, Northwestern State is a much better ball club than they've been in the past. You know, the team that came here in this stadium, that's a little bit different ball club than we saw a year ago.
Last thing about Alden real quickly, the play of the week for me was when he lowered his shoulder, got his helmet blown off, but like him not shying away from that physicality and that contact, is that something that you like to see from him, that he's not afraid to be aggressive in that way?
Well, I mean, it's good that he's a tough kid because you want your quarterback to be tough. That helps win the team. But you don't like to see your quarterback taking those kind of shots. And I have to do a better job of making sure that I limit those type of contacts, you know, with our running game. You know, some of our running game has to do with reading, you know, defensive linemen and whether you give it or pull it, that falls on me. And, I have to do a better job of making sure that we limit as much of that as we possibly can, because it's a long season. And you want to have both guys, for the duration. And that's the only way you improve is if they're out there.
You mentioned win the team several times before during
Yeah.
fall camp and even now that we've gotten into the season. What is it that you're looking for out of the other 10 guys around your quarterback that might could let you know that, okay, I think this guy's starting to click with his teammates?
Well, they have to get in a rhythm with the quarterback, and basically focus on doing their jobs correctly on every play. It's very difficult when you got 10 guys doing things the right way and one guy doing it the wrong way, and that results in a negative play or an incomplete play. So it's just about everyone focusing on their job. The old Bill Belichick slogan, do your job. And if everyone does their job correctly, then you have a better chance and a higher percentage of being effective.
Starting the season 0-2 now.
Yeah.
You have a week to get some things adjusted. Do you like the timing of this bye week and then coming back, the next week being at home?
Well, we probably do need it. It's kind of difficult to go, from training camp straight through. So it's probably good to, especially the way things have gone for us. In the last couple of weeks, it's probably good to kind of take time to sit back and look ourselves in the mirror and see where we are. But if you look at us in the past, there's only one season where we've been 1-1 at this point. And that was last year. All of the years previous, we've always been 0-2 or 0-1 or something to that fact. So that's part of it. You got to play those early money games. Not saying that the Northwestern State game was, but that's just the way it goes. That's if you look across the board, in the conference, at this point in the year, every year, all the teams are either 0-2 or 1-2 or something to that fact, and that's part of it. That's why the big boys are the big boys, and we're who we are.
Defensively, early on the first 2 weeks, I think in both quarters, 21 points given up. What's not working early on that side of the ball for that group, and then how you just sort of take this extra week to get that corrected?
Well, I think we're starting a little slowly, but I do think our defense and defensive staff have done a really good job of correcting those mistakes and really coming back and playing good defense afterwards. We just have to support them by putting the ball in the end zone, because it always gives us energy and gives our defense energy when we're putting the ball in the end zone. So one thing about the game of football, it's the ultimate team sport, and you can't say defense won the championship, offense won the championship, special teams won the championship. It takes all three to go well in order for you to be put in a position to be effective. And we have to help. We have to score points and stay on the field, and they have to do a good job of getting off the field, on third down and turn them over. But you cannot win any football game, if you have 5 turnovers, 4 of them which are in the green zone.
Any other questions? Thank you, Coach.